No unlimited hydroplane driver can say he's dominated the San Diego Mission Bay course. It's untamed and full of surprises. 4 drivers competing today have won here. Scott Pierce driving Miss Budweiser in 1991, winning his 3rd that year for Bernie Little. Dave Vilwalk in 1992, his rookie year in the Coors boat, and again in 94 after grenading an engine in the prior heat in the Pico American Dream. In 1993, Mike Hansen won from the trailer position, driving around chaos-ridden frontrunners in the Frosted Flakes. And last year, Mark Tate rallied after having a fire on board the Smokin' Joe in the 3rd heat. He's the defending champ. If the key to a win here is to overcome setbacks or beat the odds on a course with a curse, 2 drivers are due a win this year. Steve David driving for Jim Harvey, and Mark Evans in the Miss Budweiser. They'll go for broke on the fastest course of the series for the Bill Muncey Cup on Mission Bay. In the late summer sun of California, the next to the last stop on the Ralph's Unlimited Thunder Tour, presented by Las Vegas. San Diego's Mission Bay, a boater's paradise. Hello, everyone. I'm Dick Crippen. It is late in the unlimited hydroplane racing season. Everybody's used to seeing this boat dominating at this point in past seasons, but it is not dominating this year. They've had troubles. Miss Budweiser is yet to win an event. The driver of the boat is Mark Evans. Mark, you walked into the seat partway into the season. That's tough. You've had to go through an adjustment.
Quite an adjustment, but the crews had to go through quite an adjustment with me, myself, so it's been a little hard on everybody. But we've got the boat dialed in really good. I'm used to the thing, and we're looking forward to a good race.
Maybe a little proof in that you dominated with qualifying early on.
We went right out and ran some good speeds. We were hanging the boat real well. It was hanging a little too much as far as some people were concerned, but less drag makes you go faster. That's what this nice canard wing's all about. But we were top qualifier for the day, and it worked everybody up, and the other 2 snuck in there for a bit.
Most people are used to this boat bearing the number 1. The real number for the boat is U12, and it may be that number will return to this hull next season.
That's right, Dick. As in several forms of racing, the national high point champion in unlimited racing has the option of wearing number 1 the following season. And Fred Leland's Pico American Dream Team, the U100, would love to drop a couple of zeros from their number and spend next year with a nice big 1 right here on the nose of the boat. For driver Dave Vilwalk and his Pico team, it really has been pretty much a dream season. They start by winning the Gold Cup in Detroit. Then they debut a brand new hull in mid-season without missing a step. Another victory. Finally, things begin to get a little shaky in Seattle when the new boat flips during qualifying and they apparently have a setback. They go back to Old Lucky and win the event in Seattle. Here in San Diego, qualifying was not going well. They literally were not on the ladder the first day. They come out the next day and go right to the top with a 167. That's the way it's been for the Pico American Dream Team, which, as we said, can clinch the National High Point Championship sometime during this event today. We are reaching the end of the 1996 season, and we have some late season driver changes. Jim Hendrick has those.
Steve Mitch Evans moves over from the Mill Bay Casino to take the seat of the Appian Geronimo. The original Appian Geronimo was destroyed in an accident that hurt the driver, Tom Henley. Now taking the place in the Mill Bay Casino is a young driver who returns to the scene after a couple of years' absence. His name is Todd Yachting. You're not a rookie in this sport.
No, Jim, I've started driving Unlimiteds in 1983. I've driven a lot of boats over the years for a lot of different owners. And this boat here, I've driven it once before, about 3 or 4 years ago in Seattle.
And it bit you at that time, I understand.
Boy, it did. The steering exploded on me during a race, and that wasn't much fun. We ended up tearing the boat up pretty good. Come out here, and I got a half a lap in, and it did it to me again.
But you're ready to go today?
Today we are. We did a lot of hard work on the boat, rebuilt it, so we're ready to go boat racing.
And boat racing is what it's all about today as the boats take to the course here at Mission Bay in San Diego, California, one of the prettiest courses the Unlimiteds race on all year. Here are the top 5 qualifiers. Pico American Dream leading the pack at 167.98. Then Smokin' Joe's right behind him. Miss Budweiser, DeWalt Tools, and the Miss Vons. There's a good shot of the Smokin' Joe's as Mark Tate gets his boat out. Here comes the points leader out onto the course, and here are the points.
It's a 2,063-point lead in the O'Toole's High Point Championship for Pico American Dream over Smokin' Joe's, who has only a 93-point lead over the 3rd place Miss Budweiser. In lane 1, it'll be Pico America Dream with Dave Vilwalk. Mark Tate is in lane 2 in Smokin' Joe's. DeWalt Tools, Mike Hansen in lane 3. Harvey Motorsports, Steve David in lane 4. And on the outside, Mitch Evans in the Appian Geronimo. Regular driver Tom Henley is on the sidelines.
Tom, how are you feeling, and when will you be back in the boat?
Well, I hope to be able to qualify the boat at Honolulu, but at this point, I don't think I'll be able to race it by then.
Have you had a chance to get back in at all?
No, I haven't. I've still got some big gaps in my ribs right now that need to grow a little bone between them before I can get in the driver's seat.
You got a good man in there, Mitch Evans. Have a good day.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate that.
Heat 1A is on the course. Here come the boats down, and it looks like a pretty good lineup, and it's going to be a green flag as we get going right away. Pico American Dream on the inside. The blue boat starts to fly a little bit light as they go through the turn. It's a battle with Smokin' Joe's, the purple and yellow boat.
A good side-by-side battle on this 2.5-mile saltwater course, and the Pico American Dream almost skipped over and hit that Smokin' Joe boat.
Jim, this is a good test of these drivers when they get that close out there. They're not only driving their own boat, they're trusting the driver next to them on either side. In this case, Smokin' Joe's allowed enough room for the Pico American Dream to get through on the inside and give him a little bit of a bounce room because he knew he was light.
Tell you one thing, Dick Tribbett, we've just had word from the helicopter. The chief referee, Mike Noonan, has penalized this boat, the Pico America Dream, for lane encroachment when he skipped over coming off the exit pin in lane number 1. Your leader right now is this boat, Smokin' Joe's with Mark Tate.
What has already been a long weekend for the Pico American Dream gets even longer as we look down from the Labatt Blue Eye in the sky. There you see the distance between the boats that are running first and second, but the real first place boat is the purple and yellow boat on the outside in lane number 2, Smokin' Joe's. Second place now as they run, Mike Hansen in the DeWalt Tools. This boat has had trouble all year long. Remember, this is a course that favors boats that have had adversities.
Zodiac lap speed 154 mile an hour for Smokin' Joe's, who was built in 1987. He won the Gold Cup in 91 and 94.
Well, they're doing a fine job now as they start taking aim at the Bill Muncey Cup here in Mission Bay, San Diego, California. Mark Tate now enjoying a ride in the outside lane. He's got good water out there, and he doesn't have to push the boat. He wants to kind of feel out Pico a little bit, but he knows Pico is down a lap. They have radios in the helmets to tell them.
And the Pico America Dream has lapped the Appian Geronimo and has taken over 4th place. He needs points to clinch the Budweiser Dual High Point Championship today. Getting it this way, well, that's not the way to go.
No, it's got to be a long tunnel for him. Here comes Mark Tate. He is the leader. By virtue of that penalty to Pico American Dream, he's actually running second on the course, but Mark is doing a great job. He just has to hold it in there to get his points. He'll move on into the field with 400 points for the win. Look at the way that boat flies across the water. Little heavier ride for the second place boat, DeWalt Tools. There again, your leader, Smokin' Joe's, and he's having a great time.
Jim Harvey Motorsports is third, the U2, as we look at our leader once again, going through the turn and waiting for the checker flag to fall.
And it is out on the course as Mark Tate comes across the line. He takes the win. First win of the day in Heat 1A. Let's take a look, Jim, again at the infraction.
All right, now watch. The boat on the right is the blue boat, the Pico America Dream. It's a very close call there as they're side by side. And all of a sudden, coming off the exit pin, a little jump by the blue boat right about there. And the chief referee, Mike Noonan, calls the infraction.
It's a tough way to go, no question about it. It has been a long weekend, as we said, for Pico American Dream with all sorts of problems.
Now let's check the Fruit of the Loom scoreboard. Here's the results and the points they've earned in the right column.
Unlimited hydroplane coverage from San Diego is sponsored by Las Vegas, open 24 hours. And by Ralph's, where you find low prices and double coupons every day. Welcome back to San Diego, California. A saltwater course here on Mission Bay. Saltwater has its effects on the turbine engine. And how does a crew chief avoid being a wash and brine? The subject of Budweiser's Performance Corner.
Here in San Diego, it's the first time in 1996 the unlimited hydroplanes have raced their turbine engines on saltwater. Ron Brown, the Budweiser crew chief, one of the innovators who figured out the systems used today for saltwater racing. Ron, what do you have to do different here?
Well, Steve, that's correct. In freshwater, we don't normally care if we get a little bit of water in the inlet. So this is normally where we run the forward part of our inlet. But in the saltwater conditions, we learned from the way the boat got on plane and got off plane, was a big problem in getting salt in the engine. So we added this extension onto the front of the inlet. And by moving this forward, we're able ourselves now to have no salt get into the engine.
Now you've come up with a couple of other innovations as well.
Yes, Steve, as the boat planes off, this sponson digs very hard into the water. Normally the water would just shoot right up through here into the inlet. So by putting this splash rail on here, it deflects the water down, stopping a lot of that water from going into the engine of the Miss Budweiser.
And any salt water that does get into this extended intake has to go through this big filter before it gets to Miss Budweiser's turbine engine. Ron, it looks like the air cleaner on my car, but a whole lot bigger.
Yes, it does, Steve, and it works on somewhat of the same principles. We manufacture this composite filter in our own shop, and it has a fine wire mesh in it that does a very good job at effectively getting all the fine particles out, keeping the engine in Miss Budweiser very clean in salt water.
Well, here's the ladder for Heat 1B. In lane 1, it'll be Miss Budweiser with Mark Evans. Lane 2, we'll see Miss Vaughn, Scotty Pierce. He won this in 91. Computers and applications, Ken Muscatel in lane 3. It'll be Miss Exide, Mike Jones in lane 4. And on the outside, Todd Yarling in the repaired Mill Bay Casino. During testing, the Miss Budweiser had a driver debut. Anheuser-Busch, Vice President of Brands, August Busch IV. Helmet on first. He gets a little schooling there from driver Mark Evans prior to his run. Now, August Busch IV is driving this big red rocket as we look. This is the first time he's ever driven a turbine. He's had success in the offshore division, and he kicks it around the course at 136 miles an hour to qualify the boat, and the minimum qualifier is 130. I had a chance to talk to August Busch and Bernie Little after the run. Can you believe, Bernie, that he qualified the boat?
Yes, I can. I can believe that because he's done a lot of boating and a lot of offshore, so I'm real proud of him.
How does it compare to anything else you've ever driven?
Nothing I've ever driven could compare to that, Jimmy. That was unbelievable, but I'll keep selling beer and leave Mark to the driving. That was unbelievable.
Well, Todd Yarling not having a real good weekend. We know that boat had damage earlier in the weekend. They tried to get it going. The rest of the field is charging to the start line, and there's the green. Miss Budweiser right away goes up into the lead position. Now, Mark Evans took this seat partway into the season. He's had a couple of heat wins. He has yet to have a championship win. Will this be a good day for Mark Evans? Who knows? Right now, he's leading this race. That's all he's concerned about. He's not looking any further than this particular heat.
And Mark Evans has improved every single race as we go along toward the season. He's running on very smooth water here on Mission Bay. It's a saltwater course. Notice the extended air intake over the cockpit to protect the engine.
Well, it looks like Ken Muscatel's got some problems, too. He went down before the start of the race, sitting dead in the water from our Labatt Blue Eye in the Sky. There you see the front runner, the Red Rocket, as it's called by its crew, Mark Evans. And that extended scoop seems to be doing the job. I like the way Mark has sort of lightened the boat up a little bit. He's using that canard wing. That flies the boat a little bit, but also keeps it in good balance and keeps the nose down.
Here is Mike Jones in Miss Exide, currently running in third place.
Here's the 1991 winner, Scott Pierce, in a boat that's relatively new. He is running in second place in the Miss Bonds.
As we look at our leader, his Zodiac lap speed, 150 mile an hour for Mark Evans in Miss Budweiser.
As we look down from the Labatt Blue Eye in the Sky, it's a good opportunity to see Mission Bay, a little bit more of it. Excellent water here. One of the reasons is because it's beaches on all sides but one, so the water dissipates against the beach. It doesn't hit a wall and then bounce back out. It's extremely good water. It is salt water, which presents a little problem, as we said earlier, but so far the boats are handling it beautifully. Scott Pierce in second place in the Miss Bonds. He's a guy that knows this course well, having been a past winner here. Mark Evans would like to be a past winner here next year. He'd like to get the championship this year in the Miss Budweiser. He's doing a great job of driving. He's coming around now in for the checkered flag. This will be a great way to start his day. Mark Evans, who we talked to at the very opening of the show, the #1 on the front of that boat. He'd like to do his best to keep it in #1. And he does it for the first heat of the day. Mark Evans in the Miss Budweiser. Scott Pierce in the Miss Bonds, clean for second place.
Now let's check our Fiddle Loom results for Heat 1B. There is the order of finish and the points they earned in the right column. Mill Bay Casino did not start for Todd Yarling as he's being towed back. Ditto for Ken Muscatel in the computers and applications. Let's go to the dock.
Hey, what is this? An easy win?
Days of the lays. Finally we got a good lane draw, and that's part of racing too. So sorry the rest of the guys couldn't get out there and run with us, but made for an easy win for Budweiser and accumulate the points and sets us up for the final.
But alas, it is early in the day. We've got a lot more racing to go. Stay with us, and we'll be back from Mission Bay in just a moment. Welcome back to Mission Bay in San Diego, California. Dick Griffin along with Jim Hendrick and Steve Montgomery. And Jim, this looks like a preview of the final.
Yes, it does. Lane 1, Pico America Dream, Dave Vilwalk. Lane 2, Mark Evans and Miss Budweiser. Lane 3, Smoke and Joe's with Mark Tate. Lane 4, Ken Muscatel and Computers and Applications. On the outside, Mike Jones and Miss Exide.
Right off the bat, it looks like Smoke and Joe's is trying to establish a little precedent here. Mark Tate has taken the lead going down into turn number 1. The blue boat on the inside of the course to the right of your screen. Now coming up on the center is Pico American Dream, and that's the battle up front. Smoke and Joe's and Pico American Dream right behind him in the middle. None other than Miss Budweiser with Mark Evans.
Look at that camera shot of this race coming down the back chute for lap number 1. From inside the Smoke and Joe's, we look at Pico American Dream on the right side leading. Smoke and Joe's second, Budweiser third. And remember, 3 laps in preliminary competition, 5 laps in the final. Our Zodiac lap speed for lap number 1 on Pico American Dream is 154 miles an hour.
And with the 2 boats behind him, the Miss Budweiser and the Smoke and Joe's, he cannot let up at all. Pico American Dream, Dave Vilwalk has to keep pushing. There you see the view from inside the Smoke and Joe's. The Rooster Tails off to his left of the lead boat, Pico American Dream.
Whoa, a little bouncing from the second place Smoke and Joe's. Is he trying to catch the Pico?
It looks like there's some rough spots on the course. The water generally looks very good. The Miss Budweiser has now gone inside. Budweiser is held right in there in third place, and now he's moved on to the inside of the course. He's inside the rooster tail of the Pico American Dream. Here's the 4th place boat. That was Ken Muscatel. Here's your leader, Pico American Dream. Watch him as he goes through the turn. Boy, I'll tell you, Dave Vilwalk has great confidence in the handling of that boat.
Oh, look at the water. Smoke and Joe's is taking on and trying to challenge the Pico American Dream with that checker flag just moments away. And the Budweiser on the inside challenging for second. Pico is now in the center slide. Look at Smoke and Joe. Come on.
As we look down from the Labatt blue eye in the sky, it is a neck-and-neck race on the inside. The blue boat is the Pico American Dream. Just to his right is the Smoke and Joe's, and it looks like Pico pulls him on the corner. He gets a good ride on the buoy line, and he's got the advantage going down the back stretch. This guy, Mark Evans, has stayed right up in the front with those front pack leaders.
Remember, the boat on the inside of this short way around the course, if you get lane 1, it's always hard to win in lane number 2.
Boy, I'll tell you what, Pico came into that turn, and he was really dancing that boat around. As we said earlier, with the 2 boats behind him so close, he can't let up at all. One brief hesitation, and he could lose it. But he won't lose it this time around. The checkered flag is out. There it is for Pico American Dream. Dave Vilwalk gets back on track after a rough start in the first heat when he was penalized a lap. Second place, Smoke and Joe's. Third place will go out to Mark Evans in the Miss Budweiser. A good run for Pico American Dream. Fred Leland, the owner of the boat, happy on the sidelines.
Fruit of the Loom scoreboard with the cumulative points shows Pico the winner, Smoke and Joe's, Budweiser, Computers and Applications, and Miss Exide.
The winner is coming in at the dock. Let's go down to Steve Montgomery.
David, you have been from the outhouse to the penthouse a couple of times this weekend. That was close.
Yeah, this crew did a great job. You know, it didn't look like we were going to make it there for a while, but, you know, they thrashed. We had a problem with oil pressure in one motor. We had to switch motors there in about 5 minutes. Throw it in the creek, and, you know, they gave me a good piece once again.
Were you trying to help Mark Evans a little bit back there, get up into second place?
Well, I'm not just running my tail off, you know, just trying to find some smooth water someplace. And, again, crew did a great job.
Well, apparently the course is starting to get a little rough. Scott Pierce will like to hear that information. He'll use it as he gets ready to go out and race. We'll be back in a moment. One of the prettiest sights in all of racing, no matter what you're talking about. The unlimited hydroplanes coming down for a start on Mission Bay in San Diego, California. This is the second Heat B section.
In lane 1, it'll be the Appian Geronimo with Mitch Evans. Lane 2, Jim Harvey Motorsports, Steve David. Scott Pierce in the middle and Miss Vaughn's. DeWalt Tools, Mike Hansen, lane 4. And on the outside, Todd Yarling in Chelan's Mill Bay Casino.
And you can see Todd Yarling did not make it. He's still at the dock in the Chelan's Mill Bay Casino as the green flag flies. It's going to be Mike Hansen of Madison, Indiana, in the city-owned DeWalt Tools boat taking the lead. This is a boat that also has won out on this course before. Mike Hansen came from the trailer position a couple of years ago, 15 seconds off the front runners, and took the win. This is the view from inside the Harvey Motorsports team boat driven by Steve David. Boy, you could really see how that cowling extended over the cockpit area. Third place is the Miss Vaughn's, and there's the battle for the lead. On the inside, the predominantly black boat is the Harvey Motorsports boat. The predominantly yellow boat taking the lead right now is Mike Hansen in the DeWalt Tools. Look at him tie it up again as they go into the turn.
Deck-to-deck racing, Dick, here on this 2.5-mile saltwater oval. Mission Bay, San Diego, and once again, DeWalt comes off the corner in first place. Down the back chute, he will have the lead.
Once again, these boats cannot let up at all. A mistake by either one of them would be a problem. The speed of the Harvey Motorsports boat, 153 miles per hour on our Zodiac watches. A good ride for Stephen David. He's on the inside of the Rooster Tail, which is to the right of him. The Rooster Tail off the DeWalt Tools boat. Look at him. He's chipping away again, coming up on the inside.
DeWalt Tools qualified at 156. Jim Harvey Motorsports challenging for the lead, about 6 miles an hour slower in qualifications at 150 mile an hour.
The third place boat, you saw it there momentarily, the Miss Vaughn's, but look at this battle up front. Is that ever gorgeous? You can see the air underneath these hulls. We talk about the little bit of surface in the bottom half of the propeller that actually is touching the water, and you see it there. Look at how that extra scoop on the front of the Harvey Motorsports team boat is bouncing around up there. It's just a fiberglass molded piece that goes over it to extend the scoop. Look at this battle side by side. These two drivers are doing a great job.
Boy, I'll tell you, the fans along the shores of Fiesta Island and Vacation Isle are really enjoying this one here today.
Viewing the race in person, there are points where those two boats appear as one. One Rooster Tail, one boat, and then all of a sudden you see that, get the right perspective on it, and they separate out. Great job of driving by Steve David, who at the moment has got the lead. DeWalt Tools trying to catch him again. Look at the flight of Scott Pierce in the Miss Vaughn's in third place. Coming down now for the checkered flag, Steve David about to take a win here in Mission Bay, San Diego, California. This boat has not had a great year. They've had a couple of heat wins. They've always been up near the front, but this time around it looks like Stephen David, as you look through what he sees in the cockpit, is going to go and take that checkered flag for a heat win, and that'll be a great moment for the Jim Harvey Motorsports team. There's the checkered flag, and Steve David does the job. He's got to be feeling good. Look, he's got a little damage on the back wing there. I think that was before the boat was put into water, though. I think it came out that way. Very, very happy for the DeWalt team. Look at that. They congratulate each other down on the dock, the various pit crews. I'll tell you, it's competition on the course, but it's family in the pits.
Prevailing on the course, Steve David in Jim Harvey Motorsports averaged 2 miles an hour faster than Mike Hansen and DeWalt Tools in winning the heat. 149.3 mile an hour average. As we look at the Fruit of the Loom finish, the accumulative points, starting with 625, are the points earned for the day. Now let's go down to the docks.
Hey, Steve, he qualified a little faster than you did, but you beat him when it counts, huh?
Yeah, you know what really counts is Sunday, come time of the race, and this crew, regardless of the adversities, able to pull it all together.
Good race, Mike.
Hell of a job.
I'm telling you, this guy is one heck of a guy to race against. I'm going to tell you, DeWalt couldn't have found a better driver than this guy in that team, and we love racing with him, and he made me do everything I had, and he did everything he had, and that's the kind of boat racing I think Mike and I both enjoy.
No, we've had a heck of a boat race with Steve all year long, and the last 3 races we've been on the inside of him, so we've had the advantage. Well, today he got the inside, and we're just that evenly matched.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. But I gotta congratulate DeWalt for picking this guy in this team, though. They did a super job, and we hope to get as good of a sponsor as those guys in the future.
Well, here's one of the most beautiful sights in California, La Jolla Beach, just north of Mission Bay. We'll be back to more unlimited hydroplane racing in just a moment. You're looking down on SeaWorld in San Diego, California, which incidentally happens to sit right across from our unlimited hydroplane course. Well, quite a story to tell you. Mitch Evans along with Mark. They are brothers, very close on the course and off. Both driving today in turbines, both love competition. The Evans brothers, the focus of Rancho's Suspension's life in the fast lane. Meet Mark Evans. This year, this guy got the ride of his life. The Miss Budweiser. He leaped into the job, literally. But with the Red Rocket comes high expectations and a tradition of winning with owner Bernie Little. Younger brother Mitch, driver of the last unlimited piston boat owned by the Coopers. Both drivers competitive, both grew up that way.
When we were kids, you know, fighting over the cereal. Everything was fighting over the cereal to the bicycles when we headed out the door.
We were pretty well raised into a competitive environment. It seemed like it started way back, and it's just one thing. It's kind of natural, I guess, between brothers, and we've worked on it.
They race everything from snowmobiles to stock cars. But the brothers enjoy racing head-to-head, side-by-side, unlimited style, as they did last year in Dallas.
We've had some great heats, and it's fun because we can go out and we work on hooking up, you know, and then go for that last lap and just stand on it and see what happens.
I like it when he's in the other lane because I'm very confident with Mitch. Him and I have gone shoulder to shoulder so many times, and I know I'm not going to come up with any surprises, although you know how the Evans guys are, come to think of it.
When either of the brothers has an incident, the other is there, concerned about his brother.
I get very concerned for his safety, of course, and when I saw him spin out, of course, it scared me, and I feel sorry for the guy that stands next to me because I ripped his binoculars right off his head and was checking out my brother. And when I saw him get out of the boat, walking around, I knew he was all right. So, and then when he came to the dock, of course, I had to give him a bad time. You know, the real man would have drove that back to the beach.
Yeah.
So I think I heard that from him one time.
In Pasco, the Evans brothers got into a dogfight, literally, courtesy of Team America. First, instructor Barney Register held ground school. Then they took to the air.
Keep the nose up. Let it fly. Okay, nose up. Go behind him. Hey, baby, come on, man. Come around, come around, come around. Kill.
Man. You guys are a good match.
3 tires.
Woo. That was fun.
All I can say is, wow.
Man, oh man.
Well, he can take my place because he's just about killed me.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it was all in fun, but as we say, these are two brothers that compete in everything they do, and they love it.
Checking from the outside, it'll be Miss Excite and Mike Jones of the Pace Boat. Happy in Geronimo with Mitch Evans in lane 4. Lane 3, Scott Pearson, Miss Vaughn's. In lane 2, it's Budweiser with Mark Evans. On the inside, Smokin' Joe's with Mark Tate.
Smokin' Joe's ends up in lane number 1. That's usually the favorite lane. I know the owner of the boat has to be happy.
Steve, a win right here would put you in the driver's seat. This is a big heat, huh?
Well, you know, they're all big, and yeah, it would be nice that it'd give us lane choice for the final, and you know, the inside on this race course is definitely the place to be, so we're going to try for it anyway.
Steve Woomer, owner of Smokin' Joe's. The lineup looks good, and it's going to be a green flag. They are off and running. This is going to be a tough heat. They're going to have high speeds because the competition is stiff. On the inside, watch Smokin' Joe's. It looks like Smokin' Joe's is going to take the lead into the turn, and he does. Mark Tate powers on. Boy, did you see that boat as he grabbed it onto the hook. And for the fans who are watching for the first time, the hook is actually a giant skid fin that sits on the inside of the left sponson. As the boat tends to slide outside to the right, that skid fin literally grabs a hold. You can see another rooster tail when the boats go into turn where that skid fin is grabbing. Miss Budweiser, trying to catch up now, has had a very good run on the course so far today, but the leader is Smokin' Joe's.
And as Steve Boomer said, he wants his boat on the inside. That's the place to be. We're looking inside the cockpit of the Smokin' Joe's. Nobody in front of him as he leads the Miss Budweiser by about a second and a half.
Now, Jim, we talked earlier about how the water is smoother here in Mission Bay because it doesn't come back off the banks of the various islands. As we look at our Zodiac lap speed of 157 miles per hour, that puts him at about 200 miles an hour on the straightaways. First place, Smokin' Joe's. Second, the Miss Budweiser. Third, Scott Pierce in the Miss Vaughn's. We were talking about the water. It looks very smooth right there. But as the boats go through it, they're moving so fast. The wakes don't really have a chance to settle down, so they come back into their own wakes as they complete the lap. So it does tend to roughen up a little bit, and you can see right there some water went over the bow of the Smokin' Joe's. These boats are actually going a football field a second.
They'll slow down about 40 miles an hour when they hit the turn, and they never take their foot off the gas. They just keep that accelerator down. As we look from our Labatt's blue eye in the sky, you can see the lead between the boat in the lower left stream, which is Smokin' Joe's, and Mark Evans has decided to sit in second and pick up 300 points toward the final.
As you look down from the helicopter, you could actually see some of that wake still trying to settle down in the corners, and that's what the lead boat is hitting at the moment. His straightaways are a lot better. Look at the wake that Miss Budweiser has to go through, but I think you're right. I think he's settled down to second place, 158 miles per hour, our Zodiac lap speed for the Smokin' Joe's. Mark Tate is having just about a perfect ride in that boat.
And it's the fastest laps of the day. As we look at the complete oval of our 2.5-mile course, you can see where the boats mark out the mile straightaways and the quarter-mile turns.
Here is your lead boat, and he'll be coming down for the checkered flag. Smokin' Joe's, Mark Tate, another win on the day. So far, it is his kind of day for sure. You can hear the fireworks going off in the background. They fire them off every time when there's a win here on Mission Bay. The pit crew and the owner celebrating the win. There's your third place boat, the Miss Vaughn's. Here's your finish.
A Fruit of the Loom scoreboard with 1,100 accumulative points for Smokin' Joe's on the day, with 2 firsts and a second. Miss Budweiser, Miss Vaughn's in that order for the top 3.
The 3A boats are coming in. We're getting ready for the drivers to get into their boats for Heat 3B. Steve and David getting ready as ever. Let's go down to the other dock and talk to the winner, Mark Tate.
Mark, that's going to give you first lane choice in the final. Any question about lane 1?
Well, I definitely think we'll take lane 1 in the final. We had a good race boat there, and we might make a little adjustment for the final and have a little more speed. But right now, I'm very pleased with the Camel Power Smokin' Joe boat and team.
The DeWalt Tools boat is a beehive of activity as they work on a rudder repair. We'll be back to see how that boat does in the next heat in a moment. Welcome back to San Diego, California. Dick Crippen along with Jim Hendrick and Steve Montgomery as we look at the Pico American Dream. So far, we've seen some of the best racing of the season here at Mission Bay, and we've got a couple of boats on the warm-up lap for Heat 3B. Hey, wait a minute, DeWalt. It appeared DeWalt veered into the Motorsports team boat, and DeWalt is over. Mike Hansen is over in the DeWalt Tools. I don't know what happened there, whether he lost steering or the rudder broke on the boat. They were working on the rudder as we last saw them going into the last break. Here's the rescue team getting out there. DeWalt Tools is over on the course. Mike Hansen of Madison, Indiana, still is to come out of the boat.
I don't know what happened there. Either he had the Jim Harvey Motorsports in a blind spot and went to go to the inside lane for the start where he wanted to be, or he had a problem with the rudder and the steering jam.
You saw the red flag. The rescue team is now working on the hatch underneath the boat. Mike is on air in there. All the drivers have compressed air that they are breathing once they get into the cockpit. There you can see Mike is actually getting himself out of there with a little assistance from the crew, so that would indicate that he's in fairly decent shape out there. It looks like he's okay. He's talking to the crew, and he's going to get up on his own. Let's take a look at the replay, Jim.
All right, now as they come down in about the top of your screen, you can see Steve Davis' boat on the right. The other boat on the left is the DeWalt Tools. Now he seems to all of a sudden go left and make collision with his left sponson into the right side of Steve Davis' boat. That turns him completely sideways. His boat digs and he does a slow rollover. Not hard, but he ends upside down. And Steve Davis' boat is also damaged.
Speaking of Steve David, let's go inside on the replay from the cockpit and see if we can pick up any of the action. This is looking out at that point. You can see DeWalt Tools off to the right-hand side of him. He goes, whoa, right there. You can see the little bump that he got. Looked like a little bit more than a little bump from the angle that we had on it before, but he slows down. There's Mike Hansen getting out of the boat, and right off the bat, well, he's asking what happened. He doesn't know what happened either. They'll check him out. He probably got his bell rung pretty good. Meanwhile, the damage to Steve David's boat, the motorsports team.
Did you see what happened to him at all?
No, I'm running along, and he's kind of close to me, and all of a sudden, boom, he hit me, and I rated in that Mike had hit me, and then in my mirror, I saw him go over. So I asked his team, and they said they're not really sure if he had lost consciousness or what happened to him. But we're both going straight, and the next thing, boom.
They're going to try to make this boat runnable for the heat on the restart. We'll see if they can make it. We'll be back in a moment. The boats are already on the water, about to be restarted here on Mission Bay for Heat 3B. As you can see, they tried to repair the side of Jim Harvey's motorsports boat. Tape is already starting to come out.
In the original start, it was lane 2 for Jim Harvey's boat, but now Steve David has it on the outside for safety reasons since the repairs. Now let's go down to the docks and get a report on the condition of the driver, Mike Hansen.
Patty, the doctor decided Mike needed to go to the hospital. Anything serious?
Well, probably not. He doesn't remember the event, so you always want to check out any possible head injuries, but he seems perfectly fine, and he knows who everybody is now. The other thing is he has some sort of injury to his right lower leg, so we have lots of x-rays to do on him.
They won't take any chances. They'll make sure he's all right. Here comes the green flag for Heat 3B. Boy, Pico American Dream, Dave Villwalk wastes no time at all putting that boat out in front. He completes the first turn, goes down onto the first major straightaway, and he has got the lead. The race for second place is what's going to shape up as a good one. Scott Pierce in the Miss Bonds and Stephen David in the motorsports team boat, the boat that has the repair. You can see the tape is coming off that boat on the outside.
Now the repair is a piece of plywood over the hole, glued there, and then reinforced with 200-mile-an-hour tape. But it doesn't seem to be holding. It's coming off.
Dave Villwalk and Pico American Dream took the lead right off. This is the view from the Labatt Blue Eye on the sky of the second place race between the Miss Bonds, the white boat, and the black and yellow boat of Harvey Motorsports. And they are putting on quite a show out there for the fans.
A lot of racing goes back in the field for second and third place once the pace is set by the lead boat.
Side by side. Jim, look what's happened here. On the sponson nearest to the camera, there's problems for Pico American Dream. It looks like the stuffing's starting to come out.
Zodiac lap speed 149 mile an hour, but more concerned I would be if I was the Pico team is the way that the right sponson is starting to disintegrate.
You have to ask, did he hit something in the water? What happened to that boat? All of a sudden, it just came apart. It didn't look like there was a problem with the sponson. But what's of concern is it's right at the point where the boat hits the water. So it's only going to continue to rip. And look at Steve David. He has taken over the lead for second place, and he's riding right in that smoother water, being left behind by the rooster tail of the lead boat, Pico American Dream.
And Pico American Dream holds for one more lap. He'll pick up 400 points. Remember, they were relegated to a fourth place finish because of a penalty in the first time out. They need these points to secure the Budweiser O'Doul High Point Championship.
There's Todd Yarling. He's finally up on a plane in that boat. Look at the damage developing. It's continuing to rip away. We have two boats in the lead. First place, Pico. Second place, Harvey Motorsports. Both of them have damage because the tape has come off from the covering of the plywood repair job they did on the side of the Harvey Motorsports team. There's the checkered flag, Pico American Dream, and I'll bet he's going to keep his speed up as he goes into the pit area. And it looks like Jim Harvey Motorsports boat, they're going to take second place, so it's a good job. They're glad they got that boat repaired.
Our Fruit Loom scoreboard shows the order of finish with Pico, Harvey Motorsports, Mill Bay Casino, Computers and Applications with a one-lap penalty, relegated to fourth place.
We can take a look at the Jim Harvey Motorsports team boat, and you can see that's just the tape that came off the side. The wood held. They're going to have time to fiberglass that before the end. Here's Dave Villwalk coming into the pit. Let's go down there.
David, when did you know you had some damage?
I just felt something wrong in the boat. I knew there was something wrong, so I was trying to carry it as high as I possibly could and just maintain a nice boat attitude.
You think you hit something or just hydraulicked it off?
I don't know. It's hard telling. You know, I don't know what's wrong right now.
They'll take a look at that boat. Meanwhile, Ken Muscatel hit a buoy and was penalized. That was one big hole in the Pico boat. Look at that. What are they going to do about it? We'll find out as this weird drama continues in a moment. Welcome back to Mission Bay in San Diego. Dick Crippen along with Steve Montgomery and Jim Hendrick as we look at the boats warming up for the final race of the day. But one boat is not out there. Let's go down to the pit. Steve Montgomery is standing by with the points leader going into this race, Dave Philwalk. His Pico American Dream is not out there.
Has the jury reached a verdict?
It's time to pack her up. We're going to finally miss a heat, it looks like. But we didn't place second in any of them today, and the overhead footage said that I didn't foul anybody in the first turn, contrary to our referee. But we didn't finish second, and you know we brought it back in pieces, but it was still in first place.
So now it's Mark Tate in Smokin' Joe's in lane number 1. Mark Evans in lane 2 with Miss Budweiser. Jim Harvey Motorsports, Steve David in the center. Scott Pierce in lane 4 and Miss Bonds. Mitch Evans in the Appian Geronimo in lane 5. Mike Jones and Miss Exide is on lane 6, and Ken Muscatel in Allied Computers and Applications is the trailer.
And there's the green flag. It's flying over the course as these boats take it for the final time on Mission Bay. Looking down from the Labatt Blue Eye in the sky, you can see that Smokin' Joe's has taken the lead in the lane number 1, but look at Miss Budweiser. Mark Evans on his outside.
You have to know the Pico American Dream Team is pulling for the Budweiser, because if anybody but Smokin' Joe's wins this heat, then they will clinch the national championship.
So there's a little bit more riding on it as we ride along with driver Mark Tate in the Smokin' Joe's, looking at a clean course ahead of him as he hits into the turn again, hangs it out on the hook. Now remember, for these boats to be averaging over 156 miles an hour or so, they've got to be going close to 200 miles an hour on the straightaway. Miss Budweiser has not dropped back at all on Smokin' Joe's. Looking down from the helicopter, you can see he's about 2.5 to 3 boat lengths behind, and he has not been any further back since the start.
Zodiac lap speed, lap 1, 153 miles per hour. And the Miss Budweiser with Mark Evans has his work cut out for him. Being in that lane 2, it's tough to catch the leader when he's in lane 1.
And we saw the X-side going down as the camera panned over to pick up the leaders. Still Smokin' Joe's in the lead, and still that 2.5 to 3 boat length trailer spot by the Miss Budweiser. But I'll tell you what, he's closed it down just a little bit on the turn. And that's unusual, because usually the inside boat has the advantage coming out of the turn, as we see Smokin' Joe has here.
Both of these boats are hitting that water hard and dancing on the ragged edges as they come down to complete lap number 2 of 5.
Boy, this is a battle, one of the best we have had all year. Mark Evans has found the secret to the Miss Budweiser and continues to chip away. Look how he closes them down on the turn. As we said before, normally the inside boat running less of a course would have the advantage, but Mark Evans is putting the Budweiser up in the lead. Mark Evans, look at those boats, just about deck to deck. Mark Evans doing a great job of driving. Mark Tate on the inside of him. There you can see the Budweiser to the right of the Smokin' Joe's from inside the cockpit.
I haven't seen a race like this in over 20 years. That deck-to-deck battle at high speeds in these turbines. And the checker flag is waiting for one of them. They're all hanging it out.
Mark Evans in the Miss Budweiser has been getting better and better in that boat each race, and he has really got the boat operating in the proper attitude. A lot of boost from the crew on the side. What a great job this guy is doing. 155 miles per hour for the Miss Budweiser on our Zodiac Sports watches.
Look at the Budweiser. He's taken over first place. Now moving to the outside was Mark Tate. He went way on the outside, so they've changed positions.
Steve David in third place in the Jim Harvey Motorsports team, but the story of this race is that boat right there, the Miss Budweiser. If Mark Evans comes across for the checkered, as he's about to do, with no problem, he will win the first race of the year for the Miss Budweiser. The Crowds on both beaches going crazy as the checkered flag flies for Miss Budweiser. Mark Evans takes the boat to its first win of the year. Now doing it, he sets a new 12.5-mile record in speed of 151 miles per hour. He breaks Dave Bilwalk's 149-mile-per-hour record of 94, and he clinches the O'Doul's championships for the Pico. Back with the winner in a moment. Today's unlimited hydroplane coverage of the Bill Muncey Cup from Mission Bay has been sponsored by Las Vegas, open 24 hours, and by Ralph's, where you'll find low prices and double coupons every day. Promotional consideration provided for the San Diego Princess Resort on the shores of Mission Bay, a recreational haven with over a mile of sandy beaches. Call 800-344-2626 for reservations.
Now let's take a look at the final order of finish. Miss Budweiser, the winner, Smokin' Joe's, Harvey Motorsports, Miss Vaughn's, Appian Geronimo, Computers and Applications, and Miss Exide.
Holy how good does that feel, young man? That feels so good you cannot believe it. That is way too long to go without a win, especially with this team. My God, hell of a race with Mark Tate. I mean, that was, that's something you always dream about, driving like that, and having a heads-up race. And we're a bit behind. Hell, we just kept on the pedal and just kept with him and persistent. And here, Bernie's ringing in my ears, but that was great.
Bernie, I don't think you've ever had a driver drive any harder than that, have you?
No, I never have. He did a tremendous job, and we're just really finally glad to see the Budweiser in first place.
And Pico American Dream clinches the Budweiser O'Doul's High Point Championship for the year. Smokin' Joe's remains in second place, only 175 points ahead of Miss Budweiser, who is in third.
Congratulations to the Pico team. Congratulations to Miss Budweiser. Take a look again at some of the greatest racing you'll see in Unlimited Hydros. This has been a production of Diamond P Sports in association with ESPN.